put together for August 25th at 6 p.m. Sorry, it's probably 6:04 now. Under public hearing, we have a liquor license application from Beacon Bar and Bistro located at 828 Roosevelt Trail. Anybody here that would like to speak for or against that or have questions? Seeing none. Number 2 is an entertainment permit also for Beacon Bar and Bistro. Anybody got questions on that one? Moving along. Number 3 is a new business license for residential rubbish removal located at 85 Pleasant View Drive. Anybody have questions for that one? Like to speak for it? Number 4 is a liquor license for Captain Jack's located at 34 Naples Marina Lane. Anybody on that one? Looking good. We'll now call the select board meeting to order. Please rise, salute the flag. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Anybody standing in the back, we do have some seats up front here if you want to come sit. There's plenty of seats up here. I'm going to ask the board that we mix this agenda up a little bit because I know a lot of you are here for one particular item, so we're going to try to move along and maybe put the town manager's report and public participation off a little bit. Yep. Next up is review the meeting minutes from August 4th, 2025. I need a motion and a second.
So moved.
Second.
And a motion and a second. Any omissions? Any changes? All in favor? Aye. I'll also note that Colin Brackett is trying to join us via Zoom, but has not had luck with it yet. He's having an internet issue at his house, or wherever he is. Could be at work. Now, I would ask that we move number 6, A, B, and C, and D up to approve the liquor licenses in case anybody's here just for that. We can do them individual, do them as a group, however you want to make a motion.
Motion that we move them up. Current. Second.
Motion and a second to move them up. All in favor? Aye. I need a motion for approval.
Make a motion to approve the liquor license for Beacon Bar and Bistro and for Captain Jack's.
Second.
Motion and a second for the liquor licenses for Beacon Bar and Captain Jack's. Any questions? All in favor?
Aye. I make a motion to approve the new business license for residential rubbish removal.
Second.
Motion and a second for 6C, which is a new business license for residential rubbish removal. Any questions on that one? All in favor?
Aye.
And the final one.
I make a motion to approve the entertainment permit for Beacon Bar and Bistro.
Second.
Motion and a second for 6B, Beacon Bar and Bistro Entertainment Permit. Any questions? Board. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And that's going to be 4-0, Getty, because Colin still hasn't joined.
Yep.
And at this time, I'd like to move letter 8B, the proposed recreation center, to the front.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to move it. All in favor?
Aye.
Brian, you're up.
All right. A lot of people in this room. Those of you who know me know that makes me very nervous. I don't like crowds. I'm already tripping.
Now you just knocked the TV out.
Did I do that? No, it's coming back.
There it goes.
I have to wing it.
Nope, it's there, Brian.
So, I don't know how you typically like to do things. I should come to more meetings. But if you want me to get through this PowerPoint, and then if there's questions, rather than stop at each slide, but I can do however.
I'd rather you go through the whole thing and then we'll go with questions.
Okay, that's good. So I gave you each a copy, should be good. Okay, so let's start with why a recreation center. Big, broad question. It's a lot of A lot of great reasons for a recreation center, in my opinion, but some of them are access to indoor recreation facilities supports physical activity. We all know how important physical activity is to all ages. Recreation reduces social isolation through events and programs. Maintain continued growth of existing programs with the ability to add more activities for all ages. In the last 4 years, our existing recreation programs have grown by over 200%. So that's the existing ones with adding very little because we don't really have the space to do that. It's already growing. And we hope to continue that by adding different key categories, doing more for adults, doing more for our seniors, doing way more for teens. There's a lot of opportunities. Quality of life is key in business and community growth decisions. We talk about, hear it all the time, talk about people coming, where do you want to live? Where do you want to bring your business? Quality of life is a big part of that. And increased revenue opportunities for the town. With increased programming, yes, comes some costs, but we've shown a great ability to collect revenue. And with a facility large enough, you can do that in a lot greater magnitude. So basically, there's been a group that's been working, a working group that has been put together, has been working on this project. They were asked to do so by the select board, and the group has been meeting regularly and tirelessly to create a vibrant community hub that promotes programs and events. It's an estimated cost of $3 million, and that is, I think it's important to note that $3 million is before any donations or grants or fundraising. So and it's also important to note that $3 million is a cap, right? So I know people get concerned about cost overruns. Anything above and beyond that amount, if it's so voted, would have to be raised through fundraising, through donations, and through grants. And we have the team in place. So the structure, and I'm going to show you a picture of in a minute, is a steel building. It's over 15,000 square feet of gym space, open space, with an attached almost 3,000 square foot accessory building that would house bathrooms and a meeting room and a modest office for the recreation director and some storage. The courts, the big space, the gym will contain multi-use sports courts, gathering space, a meeting room, like I said, and storage, bathrooms, and there's a considerable lobby. The location, and we're going to talk a little bit about why, will be at the Plummer Complex by the Legion on Route 11. So this might be tough to see. I don't know. A lot of people have studied it. So a lot of you, I think, have already talked to me about this slide. If you look at the location of, we were given a bunch of options for a location. Some did not meet the standards that we ask our own businesses moving in the town to meet. So we landed on one that does. And this, and when you initially look at it, and the concern I've gotten, so I wanted to hit it right now, is that, wow, that takes away a lot of parking. It actually adds parking because we have some, and I would use the laser pointer, but for some reason, this laser pointer doesn't show up on the TV.
It's the glare.
It's the glare. Oh, well. I can put it, anyways, currently we have around 90, a little less than 90 parking spaces at that facility. This proposal brings that parking to 170 spots. So it actually increases. There's also room to do more, and we understand concerns with folks about parking. Parking is, right, it's an issue. And we also there is room to do more. It's not built into this cost, but it could be part of that fundraising or whatever that we need to do. If it's determined that we need more. Also, the Legion uses that parking. If anybody's gone to it, what do you call that? Meat roll? Meat roll is unbelievable, right? It's unbelievable. Bingo.
Texas Hold'em.
Texas Hold'em. I I didn't know what So those nights have a big crowd. So also shared parking agreements are very common in a lot of municipalities. We would definitely work with the Legion on that shared parking agreement. But it's something we could dig into more. I don't see it being an issue. So it's just kind of a closer view. You can see this is closer to Route 11. One of the things that we're looking at, a lot of towns, like I said, are going towards keeping parking off the front of the roadside, because you drive by and all you see are big parking lots, and then things are set back. So this just changes the orientation, but we do create parking spaces on the side and behind there. So as you can see, it's the major part, the gym part, is a steel building, and I'm going to talk about why we chose that size in a moment. But we really think that that stick built, the wood in the front, softens it. Get a little. I think it looks good, and that's been the consensus. So that's kind of a side view there. Hey, just real quickly, it's 2 large basketball courts, and they're multi-purpose. So the floor that we've priced out would allow for not just sports activities, but boat shows and craft fairs and private events and things of that nature, because we feel that, with limited space in this town, we want to be able to offer something that can be used by everybody, not just basketball players and volleyball players. So it's really a multi-purpose use. There's a divider curtain. So the divider curtain will allow us to split that to do multiple things at the same time, which really helps with that revenue. It'll hold 6 pickleball courts, 3 volleyball courts, a batting cage. A lot of people, I know there's some baseball, softball folks in here. We lost, and I'm not even kidding, in the spring, we lost 22 days to rain. Days that we could have brought kids inside at a different time and worked around to do that. We lost 9 Saturdays, which was crazy, to rain. Doesn't happen every year, but so the batting cage will be in there. There's seating on the ends. It's great room for walking, running, meeting space. So this is this is obviously not out, but we went to a similar, same size venue. As you can see, that's with the curtain down. So this side of the space is half, and you can see on the other side of the curtain is the other half. High ceilings allows us to do a lot. Retractable baskets. There's in the pricing, in that $3 million pricing, is all of the sports equipment for that. So it includes all of that. Bleachers and basketball hoops and volleyballs and pickleball nets. So we talk about the benefits of having a rec facility like this one. It operates existing winter sports programs and allows for continued growth. We already talked about that a little bit. It'll allow for an indoor space when outdoor activities are rained out. We'll introduce new youth and adult recreational programs, run activities and events during hours that are not available to us in the school spaces. And I'm gonna show you talk a little bit about those hours. It provides a local space for Naples residents currently seeking activities in other towns. And I see a lot of people in this room that are not only going to Sebago to play pickleball, but our own chair brings his son to Saco and Gorham and all over the place to play in travel basketball leagues. And it'd be nice to be able to keep people and host that and make a little money off that instead of all the money that Ted's spending. It increases the window to host town events and activities that bring revenue to both the town and the local businesses. And this space is large enough to have activities. This space is large enough for large, movie nights and for concerts and conventions. That helps local businesses. That brings money into the town and for the businesses. It's an opportunity for more residents to achieve recommended levels of physical activity, especially in the wintertime. Aid in combating social isolation. Positively impacts economic development. So we've already received some feedback, and I want to talk a little bit about some of that feedback we've received. We talked about the parking already. That isn't on my list. I got questions about that today, and we're looking into that. But how has the cost been reduced so much? How do we go from a 17 million, but that's a whole different project. But the last project was for a smaller gym, and it was 7 million. Well, one of the reasons is by choosing this location. One of the things that drove the cost of that last project up was that we wanted to put it over here. And by putting it over here, there are standards that are voted on and decided on by our residents and by our select board, right? And those standards kind of drove the cost up. This is a steel building, which we were not able to do over here for a number of reasons. And it's a standard size steel building. It's a size that is in stock, and it's amazing what that does for the price when you stop asking people to fit your needs. This building fits the needs. We also looked at a building half the size, and that building, and that was by me. I said to the committee, if we can do this, let's do half the size and let's split that price out there. But instead of going from 3 million to 1.5, which is what I thought it would do in my feeble brain, I didn't realize all of the costs that remain the same, and the cost was closer to 2.5 million than 1.5. So this is I think the most responsible size and location. So that's how we reduced the cost from last one. Why are we not proposing to locate at the recently purchased town property? I think that the same reason is for that's what we ran into. How are we going to pay for operational costs of the facility? So that becomes a responsibility of me, my department, which is right now me, and the town manager and the budget committee. But we've shown the ability to create revenue. This is an asset to create revenue. So the baseline for that revenue has to be the cost to run that building. So that's not after that's paid for, and we're paying that there's not a single, there's no cost. So currently we estimate the heat, the electricity, the insurance to be around $50,000 a year. And so we start our revenue there. Just without having that building, we were, and not bringing in out-of-towners, we were able to we had $149,000 in revenue this year. So I believe $50,000 by inviting out-of-towners, having tournaments, having conventions, charging for that stuff, would easily pay for the operational costs and then some. This question I received a couple times when there was a Facebook message, I guess, that went out. Why can't we use the existing town space? This is the existing town space. So now we know why. We really just don't have the space. The Singer Center is tiny. This was our old gym, this and those offices. We all know that story. But here we are. We're in this beautiful space here now for this, and we're looking to move forward. And then I'm going to dive deeper into this one because I've got this a lot. Why can't we use the MSAD 61 school gymnasiums? So it's a question I got, and it makes sense. We have 4, we have Lake Region High School, Lake Region Middle School, Songo Locks, all in Naples, and then right over the border we have Crooked River Elementary School in Casco, right down the street from where we're proposing this. So I want to talk a little bit about that. So this is small print, but the gyms are unavailable. So honestly, I think this first line should be enough to answer this question, but I have more. The gyms are unavailable due to classes being in session from 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. 180 days a year. 180, I'm not great at math, I'm not a mathematician, but that's about half a year, right? So about half a year during the prime hours, especially for our senior population, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. it is unavailable. Also, in addition to that, I'll go through this fast, there are 60 sports teams for teens between the high school and the middle school. 60. 11 of them use the gyms exclusively all winter. So when you have 11 teams, that's 11 practices per day, if you can do that, which you can't. 11 games, but some teams play twice a week, but they do play one away, so at least probably 10, 11 games. There's just a lot of usage. So the high school becomes absolutely unavailable to us. We do use it at times. They give us a nice full Saturday to run our 3rd and 4th grade program at the end of the season, and they do a great job sharing that space with us when they can. The middle school we use quite a bit I run a middle school program in the afternoon on Fridays, and we use it all day for a bunch of weeks on Saturday. So it's already being used. Naples Recreation is currently using Songolock's gym space in the afternoon and evening, an average of 4 days a week in November and March. So we're already using it for our existing program. But that's November through March. But we just added 50 full days from 6:30 a.m. to 6 p.m. In the summer. Naples and Casco Recreation are currently using Crooked River to the same degree. Naples, Casco, Bridgeton, and Sebago are using the Lake Region Middle School Gym, approximately 120 hours during the winter already to run our programs. There's a community use agreement which requires Sundays to be paid for by the towns, so we don't run anything on Sundays because we have to pay for their custodians. And there are typically between another 20 to 30, 20, 25 days where the space is not available due to holidays, repairs, and whatnot. So, in a minute, I'm gonna ask, and actually in 3 minutes, I'm gonna ask Craig Shackness to come up here and talk about all the work they've been doing on this project, him and his group, a lot of people. But in the meantime, there's ways to keep up to date on what we're doing. Like this website, naplesrec.com. You can email me anytime. That QR code goes to the website. And then we ask everybody to come out and vote on November 4th, regardless of what your opinion is. Voting is your right and it's important. So before I talk about, the last thing I'm going to talk about is going to be some things that people have asked for that we can put in this gym. But before I do that, I want to talk about the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan went out to how many responses did we get?
514 responses.
514 responses. And here are some of the things that they said that we heard. Because I want to make one thing I want to make clear, and I probably haven't said it yet, is that we really have listened to the people. Like this working group, our town managers, now crossing over to 2, I believe myself, has really listened to people. Like the cost was an issue. The things that were an issue, like we've been working to take care of them because we know how important this is, and we know how important other things are as well. But these things, this is what the people have overwhelmingly said: 45% new or improved recreational facilities is changes that they would like to see. That would have changes that would have the greatest impact on our quality of life. 45%, almost half the people said new and improved recreation facilities, more opportunities for community and social interaction. 36%. Anticipated services needed. This is needed, not those things that people want over the next 10 years. Senior programs and recreation amenities. And priority investments. Needed, priority, impact. Recreation programs and facilities. So this is people from the comprehensive plan. So this last slide, I apologize, but I don't because I kind of like it. It takes 2 minutes and 28 seconds to load. So I ask, it's really just a slide. Originally I typed all the things that we want to do or that people have asked us to do, and we're not going to do them all right away, maybe ever. But there's so many opportunities with a facility like this. So I just asked if you could just, take a couple minutes, relax, have a drink of water, and take a look.
While you're doing that, the high-res graphics available
I don't know, high res?
Because,
We'd have to talk, I don't know.
I mean, you lose, like, you can't read what's on that parking space to the side of the Legion, and no matter how you zoom out, it blurs out.
So, I'll see what we can do. It certainly doesn't have to.
It doesn't have to be, like, I don't have to make a wall-sized poster just so you can read all the text.
I had to have Kathy read this for me today.
I'm sorry.
You printed 11 by 17. It's very easily readable.
Okay.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
twice the normal size, yeah.
That's great, Brian. Very great.
We're watching a slideshow. Yeah, you're supposed to be watching.
Yeah,
Pay attention.
I put a lot of work into it. You're better than ever.
Your logo up in the corner. See the, oh, okay. Well, yeah. Okay.
All right.
Leave it up there.
You're adding on to what Ryan already.
Yes.
Apparently, that's the way it's supposed to go.
Okay.
All right, that's how I've been instructed, and I follow instructions very well.
Go ahead.
So, my name is Craig Shackness. I live in Naples. We've owned property here since 1996. I retired here around 5 years ago and spent a lot of time up here, University of Maine graduate. And I participated in the work group that you all created back in January. In fact, we started on January 14th, and we've been meeting tirelessly pretty much since then, almost every other week. There was a group appointed by the select board, but then there was also some local citizens, of which I was one, that participated in the discussions and the debates about what would be the best building, the best sites, what do we want to, types of activities that we wanted to engage there. So we spent a lot of time. There was a lot of debate, a lot of discussion to come up with, as Brian said, an affordable solution that was far less expensive than the ones that have been proposed in the past. I want to give a shout out and some recognition to Jim Gratello, a former member of this board, also a Naples resident, because I think he was instrumental in that discussion. As some of you may know, he owns a sports dome down in Portland, and he recently built a building just like the one that we're proposing. And so he had access to vendors and to suppliers to help guide us and come up with a solution that we ultimately came up with. That I think it meets the current and the future needs, as Brian discussed. We went through a lengthy design process, and then after that was kind of concluded, we decided that what we needed to do is really form an action group, a community action group that really didn't include any of the town officials to help promote this, but also to help fundraise for it. When we did that, Lindsay Clement and I became the co-chairs of that committee, and we've been working a lot on a variety of things, one of which you saw was the website. Jojo Deshane, it's just like that cartoon, the tech support for us grandparents as the young folks. Jojo was able to help us put together a website, and it's going through its final renderings right now. If you go to it, it will just say coming soon, but in it will be a lot of the information that Brian talked about, plus some additional information, some FAQs, a press release that we put out, and an opportunity for you to ask questions. So you may go to it, but just give us a little bit more time, and that will come. So we've kind of moved into that section. I think if you take a look at the sign over there, we developed a logo. It's certainly not one that we need to have the town adopt, but it's going to be our logo, and it's a picture of an action player, Naples Recreation Center, and Let's Play, because that's really what we want to do. We want to play there and also use it as a recreation and an event center. We decided that it was coming into summertime, and it was going to be difficult to really. Everybody's schedules are tough. But the second part of our charter is to raise money to drive down the cost of this as much as we can. We've already started that effort. We haven't really done a lot of work on it yet, but we're meeting. Lindsay and I are meeting with a local prominent business owner to get those discussions going. They reached out to us because they said they wanted to be part of this endeavor. They wanted to make sure that this thing was a success. And so, we're going to be talking with them and other businesses as well that have expressed interest over time. And we're going to do our best so that we can adhere to the number one thing that was on the comprehensive plan, which I think was to reduce taxes. We're not going to be able to reduce taxes, but we're going to try to keep them as low as we possibly can for this. So we're hoping that we get your approval on September 8th. I think that's going to be the timeline, so that we can get it on the warrant for November, so that all of us can vote yes in November for something that is, I think, going to bring a lot of value to this community and is much needed. Any questions from you?
Thank you, Brian and Craig. I appreciate your loud voice. I think everybody heard you just fine. I have a couple of quick questions before we open it up to the public, and we'll ask the board also, but we're going to vote tonight on a date for the public hearing. I have recommended September 8th, and I think that probably will be the day, after that first public hearing, we as the board are going to vote yea or nay to put it on the warrant for November 4th. That's the process that we have to go through. I'm wondering, Brian, if for the public hearing for the next meeting that we're going to have, is it possible to get an inside layout of the building, part of your PowerPoint presentation? A lot of people are wondering how it's going to be laid out. Thank you. Just my comment, because I've been to these facilities, as you spoke earlier, I've been to them quite often. And it's just my concern. I'm not sure that seating for 100 people is enough, because at all times you're going to have 4 or 6 teams playing. The events that I've been to, 2 teams is 25 parents times 2, and that's just 1 court. So that's my concern. Do whatever you want with that information.
Oh, yeah, we have it.
Okay.
We get you.
Okay. And my next question is, we've spoke about $3 million. A lot of the taxpayers are wondering if they can see a breakdown of, where that $3 million came from.
Sure.
Okay.
You wanna see that on the
That'd
8th?
be good to show.
On the 8th? Or
Yep,
right now? 'Cause
No,
we have it now. if you
on the
want.
8th. Show it on the 8th if you would. I don't want to take up these people's time tonight, but, and I will also speak about the use of the gymnasiums through MSAD 61, because again, I help Brian whenever I can, and I've been to a lot of these workouts and practices and games, and we have our as low as 3rd and 4th grade children at these gymnasiums at 9:30 at night. And in my opinion, as a parent, they should be home in bed. And the only reason they're there so late is because it's the only time we can use the gym. When Brian says the gyms aren't available, he ain't lying. I've seen it firsthand. And that's the only comments I have. I don't need any answers tonight. You can bring it on the 8th. That's fine with me. You got anything?
I'm just thrilled about this. So I am so grateful to every one of you for making this happen. Looks fantastic to me. I think this is going to be the greatest thing that'll happen in Naples.
Kevin?
Same thing, I'm just really happy about the turnout. It's really great to see the positive outlook on this and the networking that will come from it. That you guys are keeping the project alive, and it was a great presentation.
Steve?
Brian, we've talked about this past fact, we talked about it tonight. One, I'm all for this, I think we should have had it before, but we didn't have it due to pricing and cost. But parking, to me, is gonna be a big issue. I was over there Wednesday night, all right, between the Legion and the bingo was going on, and youth football, all right, there was not a parking spot open in that existing parking lot. They were parked all over the lawns. Now we're gonna put a building in the middle of that parking lot. Yes, you say we're going to increase it from 95 to 172, but most of those are out back and away from the current activities. You show on your sketch the first two set of double parking spaces is 18. Those existing parking spaces today are 14 spaces apiece, all right? So you're gonna add 4 more, which is approximately 36 feet on the end somewheres. Not sure where you're gonna get that without going right up against the fence of the ball field that's here. I would just appreciate it if somebody could take a harder look at the sketch that's up there and how it's showing those parking spaces. I hate to see water over the dam and after the fact the buildings are there and there is not enough parking for the activities that go on in that area. It's a great area, you know, everybody gets to use it and, you know, if you could.
It will be addressed.
Thank you.
Well, let me look at that real quick, Teddy. There
Sure.
might have been a couple things, but I think a lot of the stuff that Colin wanted to add was just punch list stuff that we've discussed on other topics.
He's watching on camera, he's sending pictures.
Okay, with the gym, I'm gonna read what he had for a little bullet list here. That they need to start a nonprofit and raise as much as they want to lessen the burden. He's just also just wondering about predictions of other facilities down the road that we need to think about and how they're going to affect our budget. And what Steve just discussed about the parking. So those were the couple things in regards to the gym. The other stuff is for later.
Okay. What was the first one again, what you just said?
Sorry.
Because that one might be something Brian wants to make a
Farming and
Nonprofit.
non-profit, which is already done,
which
right?
is Craig's group is 501c1.
Yeah, so we're, Jim Gutello has a 501c, or whatever they're called, and he's going to break out an area for us to use to put monies when we get approval for this. And then we're going to be going hard, so, you know, on November 5th, if it's voted in favor, we switch over from marketing to fundraising. And we've got some great people in this town that have already expressed interest in helping us and have some ideas, so, yeah.
Okay.
That's our plan, But I don't want to I want to spend my energy
Right.
there right now.
Right. All right, we ready for public comment on this? Ed had his hand up first, sorry, Joanne. You're next.
$3 million worth of building, probably another $1 million in equipment. Is it sprinkled? So it's got a sprinkler connection on it?
Yes.
All right, that's all I can.
Joanne?
I just, I don't feel that. Oh, come on. You know the drill.
I thank you for putting this all together, everyone involved. I'm really excited about this, but when you make the proposal, I just want to make sure that there's something in there for sound barrier. Like, those buildings are really loud. You got pickleball and kids trying to do something else. Just, I don't know, is there any kind of, you know, the noise things that they,
Sound deadening.
yeah, that's it.
There's some barrier stuff, but I don't know the extent of it, but I can certainly dig in that.
All right.
And that answer that question.
Yeah, perfect. No, it's just a thought, that's all.
Spray foam insulation.
So,
Anybody else?
just to answer her question, When you look at, if you look at that facility that we showed a picture of, there's a lot of insulation on the side of it, so it's not like just a metal surface to reflect off of. It is somewhat softer. I don't know if that's gonna be enough for what you're asking, but it's not just a steel building with the sound waves bouncing off it inside.
Anyone else? Go ahead.
I got a list, I want to let them go first. Jim Riley, over on Blueberry Pines Drive. The 3 million, is that a number you set and they met, or you set a goal and they said 3 million?
They worked on it, and that's the number they came up with.
Okay, which is awesome. The inside of that, the building is 2 basketball courts, which can be converted into pickleball courts or volleyball courts. It's not basketball courts and pickleball and volleyball, right? Like they do at the Civic Center, there's something in place to put over the floor. Do we plan for that?
So this floor it's a little bit more expensive.
Sure.
You know, it's part of that 3 million.
Yep.
And it allows, we could, this stuff.
There's huge money.
Bulletproof.
There's huge money to be made in the boat show arena, like you were talking about. I
So it makes more sense.
moved home from Eastern North Carolina, and you can't swing without finding a boat show on any given weekend. And there's money to be made there. You've got it laid out where the 50,000 in utility costs, your breakout for that somewhere?
No. So that is an estimate
Yep.
based on similar size and whatever. So we'll be drilling that down.
Yeah, I mean, you got 2 weeks for him, so. Is there any kitchen space built into the plant?
No, there is not.
Has to happen.
So
Has to happen.
can I address that? When you're done?
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to talk about that.
What are we gonna do about the snowmobile trail? That runs right through where this building's gonna live. I mean, as long as we
My
account for,
answer to that, because I'm a snowmobiler too,
Yep.
is there's still room to go behind.
that's all, yeah, as long as we're thinking, that's all. Okay. Yeah, and while you're looking at utility costs, if you can figure out your staffing costs at the same time, a rough breakdown estimate, because manpower is gonna eat us alive. And you can't get anybody to work for 18 bucks an hour now, how are you gonna do it for that? And I'm happy to help if you need more
That's the
bodies.
answer.
No, not with that part, but this part. I did my time on that part.
Yep, and I have another question you might be able to answer too, but at the
So-
same time.
Kitchen?
Yep.
Kitchen is something that's been kicked around as much as any topic.
Yep.
I am pro kitchen, but we heard what people asked for, and we had to find ways to cut. There is some room to expand, and that is I believe one of the very first, if we are so fortunate enough in this town to get this facility, that one of the very first fundraising events that I would like to hold would be to pay for that kitchen.
The only thing you have to factor in is when you're designing this and building the slab, you have to have it stubbed in for power.
So that is already, we've planned for
As
that.
long as you've got that
So
part
it's
done,
like-
then the rest of it's easy. You
Right.
can put metal fixtures in anywhere you want.
Yeah.
And if
So-
you had to do it in an external building with a breezeway, even better. It's cheaper. It's not taking away from your basketball.
But that is something that I
If you're gonna have
fought for.
functions, you have to have a kitchen.
I fought for
Have
it.
to.
Not everybody agrees with you and I,
Well, trust me when I tell you.
but I think we found a solution. I think we found a solution, which is that we plan for that addition.
As long as it's stubbed in.
Make it happen.
I think there's several people that agree with the theory of a kitchen.
It has to happen.
Yeah,
There's
that-
people
that
that want to
place-
emotionally disagree with me, but financially you will fail
With
at
that-
doing events if you don't have a kitchen.
That place, I mean, who knows when the next ice storm is, and it'd make a great emergency shelter.
Right?
You know,
A warming center with the ability to cook,
Yeah.
to heat up tray rats.
yeah. One thing I forgot, Brian, when I was making notes as you were speaking, my question's about air ventilation. Is there a ventilation system in this building? And I'm gonna ask that question because I have been to the ones in Saco many times when it's not working and it isn't a pleasant smell.
I refer to that building you're speaking of as the Sweat Sock.
Yes.
My son used to play down there. Where's the games today? We got 3 games at the Sweat Sock. I can't speak to that well enough. Yes, but I don't know well enough about that.
As long
But
as
I will
some type
dig
of
in.
hand movement in
Well,
there, 'cause-
yeah, we'll dig in and I'll find out more details for you on that. And I can send it to you ahead of the 8th or talk about it on the.
And I only ask the question so that if it comes up on the 8th, you'll have the answer. In
Anything
other
else?
words, it's gonna come up.
It's gonna come up with the 8th.
Anybody else?
Yeah, Brian, I got one here.
Oh, see, Brian,
Brian?
Steve's got one.
When I was reading emails today that were floating around on this subject, you talk about $3 million as the potential cost. There was verbiage out there that says really 3.5, and out of those emails, they wanted you to include that into this presentation. I just don't want it to come out after the fact, it is 3.5 versus
Yeah,
3.
so we have a cost calculator that we've been working with.
Yeah.
Jason Rogers set it up, he's working on, we're getting, all the information we needed to get, we put it in, and we are around that 3 million. So I think it was suggested, hey, let's build a buffer, let's put that 3.5 just in case. I will do whatever you guys, we have to get approval from the budget committee, so we have to talk to the budget committee. We'll put that number, what they approve, based on what we share with them. I want to just challenge everybody to say, hey, let's do this for $3 million. And if there is overruns, let's raise that money. Funds. I believe we have amazing people in our community who want this, who have told me that and we can make things happen to raise that money. And if that delays it, I apologize. But yeah, that'll be a decision for, I believe, I don't know. Help me with the process. I'm a rec director. But it's right. It's a process for the budget committee to help out, right?
Yeah,
To help us figure that out.
we'll get there. They'll have a review of it, yes,
Yeah.
absolutely, and so will the planning board, but, at some point.
Yeah, but the
when
budget
we-
piece of that, that's
But on
gonna
the
be.
8th, when we approve the written of the article, it has to have a number. So if
So
the
do
committee wants us to increase that at that time to 3.5, we gotta know before the 8th.
So I'll talk, Randy, knows that, we talked about that meeting with the budget committee and when that would happen. Can that happen before the 8th?
That's what we're gonna talk about, yeah.
Okay, well, yeah, I don't know that, but yeah, thank you.
Well, you said you were using an off-the-shelf building size. Have you looked at scaling that slightly bigger, potentially with another off-the-shelf size, just to account for the additional seating that 100 ain't gonna cut it? If you've ever been to a cheerleading competition, you know what I'm talking about.
If you're wondering how the budget went up to 7 million last time,
Because we were customizing the structure, we weren't using an off-the-shelf building
So
size.
great question.
Because that building's only gonna cost 25,000 more, not 250,000.
And you gotta weigh everything out, right? Bigger building, got into more parking, I don't know, that's.
One at seats.
Right, but seats is, there's room to make more, have more seating. Casco just purchased some rollaway bleachers that are,
It should be anyway.
that are for, like, they're not even, well, anyways, they'd be perfect for that. There are ways to design that to make more seating. The standard seating is, on the ends, is about 130. But we can look more into that with my gym folks.
Are you talking 130 on each end?
No, 130 total. 65. But that's the standard seating that's in there all the time. We can roll in and out bleachers, we can, but let's look at that.
Yeah.
Let's look at that and see what
When I go to soccer, there's a lot of people standing. That's the only reason I brought it up.
let's build a mezzanine, let's go, there's a lot of things we can do, right?
But then again, you go to
Let's go to
there's no
7, let's
seating.
go back to 7 million. No, I'm just kidding. So we're being fiscally, but
Yeah, I
we
understand.
want to hear about the things that
I
are important to
appreciate you
people.
guys have it. I
And then
appreciate
weigh that out, right? So.
Yep. Anybody else?
Brian, once this is approved in November, and it will be, all right, you can start your nonprofit 501c3, all right, and there's a lot of money out there for donations and grants that will come forward to help reduce the cost of this project, and I believe it will go well, so.
Thank you. So, can I piggyback on that real quickly?
Yeah.
This part of it's new to me. I've been running recreation programs for a long, long time at different facilities. But this part of it is exciting and new to me. And one thing I learned and was very surprised by is that most grants, if not all that we've looked at, really require you to show that the public supports it. So if there is a yes vote, that shows public support, which opens the doors to so many other grant opportunities that aren't open for us right now.
Ellen?
Right. First, I need to give kudos where they're deserved, and that is to Ted. We had a found dog in the neighborhood, and I ran down to the neighbor's house while Kevin wrestled the dog, and before I get back, Ted was in the yard. So he's done a great job, and we found the owner, and all is well. So we appreciated that very much. I'd kind of like to address the elephant in the room that nobody said a word about, and that is this beautiful piece of land that we've bought next door. Okay, we've gotten this piece of land because it is right next to the village green, next to everything that's happening, across the street from the beach. And I understand about a level lot, but you know what? This would give us the extra parking in the middle of town that we need. It would give us a lot more facility space. It would give, I know that there's talk about what's the design. Well, I think we can probably work with that, and it could be facing this way or what have you, if that's what it needs to be, away from 302. There's a way around us. Truly, I think that we should be using this piece of land. It's a good-sized piece of land, 3+ acres, I think. And it gives us the extra parking. Look at the parking we've just used for one meeting. We need more parking space. And that would give them room to run across and have a meeting. If the town needs some meeting space, then it's right there. It's not down at the Legion. I mean, we live on the other side of the Legion, so that's really handy for us to go to a rec building at the Legion. But we were there Wednesday night, and there was hardly a parking space to be had. We were in one of those parking spaces, but there were ball games, the rec department, the bus coming through, the Legion activities. And so I really feel bad that I go by there all the time. There are people using the pickleball courts. They're doing skating. There's kids there, there's adults there, and we didn't even put the pavilion over it when we had money allocated for that. They ought to have the pavilion put over that skating rink. Let them have what they're already using and build a nice building that we can all use for lots of things right there. And I guess that's what I'll leave it.
Without, I understand we spent money, we bought dirt. It's a great piece, sorry. We spent the money, we bought the dirt. It's a great piece of dirt, but if you look at highest and best use, the suggested site over off of 11 is hands down with what you can support based upon traffic load, what you're gonna increase when you can't get through here already on a given day. It will be untenable when, if you tried to put a big facility in there and then bring a whole bunch of people on those tiny little roads that we deal with on a daily basis. I think we already own that dirt too. It's the cheapest and easiest place to put a rec center. We can do something fancy with this and rent it out too, and at a park.
Brian, have we ever put a cost estimate together to put one over here and compared the two cost-wise on the difference, just for?
Not the same thing, because the old group was working under the understanding that, correct, am I correct, Kevin? That type of building could not be built.
In the village zoning district, there's design standards, and those design standards will make that building a lot more expensive. I'm sorry, in the village district, there are design standards that will make that building much more expensive. That's how we got from 3 million to 7 million. There are also some site issues that could cost more for septic and other things related to that. If I may, there was 3 concepts, A, B, and C, that were drawn up, and we'll talk more about this at the next meeting if we want to. One had more parking than the other. One of the considerations is only concept B and C had access around the building, which is a fire safety consideration. The town is exempt from planning board review. It's exempted itself through the ordinance. However, there's a statement that says that we're supposed to meet our own ordinances. And we can't be telling one developer, you can't do this, but then we just go ahead and run over it. So
We looked at the three concepts, and the one that most met the ordinance, provided the most parking, and created the emergency access around the building was concept B. That's how we landed there. However, that is a concept plan. It's not set in stone. So when we get to finalizing it, it could be that we could shift the building to the north 16 feet and maybe move the parking over closer to the Legion. There's some wiggle room in this. These are concept plans done by Sebago Technics just to make sure that we have room for septic, well, parking, and the structure. So there will be some slight changes when we get to finalizing plans.
So a question to what you just said, refresh my memory,
Yeah,
how far up Lamb's Mills Road does the village district go?
couldn't tell you right off the top of my head, but I couldn't tell you on the top, but the front facing part is definitely in village, and that's where all some of them are rather subjective standards, if you will, but varied roof lines, the different facades, mixing of materials to make it look more visually appealing. Landscaping is a little bit more stringent. Even on the proposed site over there, we have some buffering that has to be done, but because it's commercial, it's a little bit less strenuous, if you will. And the hardest one to me in the villages is in keeping with the New England vernacular. That's a pretty subjective one, but it's you put a group of people together and you might get a lot of different opinions as to what that would be.
I asked the question
Yeah.
because I'm trying to think of all avenues that
Yeah.
people like Ellen are asking. And if we was to use that site and
Yeah.
use an entrance off from Lamb's Mills
Yeah.
Road and leave the buffer on Route 302,
Yeah.
could it happen? That's a question.
That's a question I can look into.
Because, just 500 feet up the road, they already built the monstrous metal building
Yeah.
that you can see
Yeah.
from the other side of
Yep.
the lake. So what,
Well, I think the standards came in after that too. So the people of Naples voted in new design standards for village and commercial as well. The other thing is you are the town, you can rezone. I mean, that's an option too. So that's something to think about. But looking at the three plans, the one that the committee selected was the one that was the most in keeping with the ordinance, provided the most amount of parking, and provided the accessible parking spaces and the most convenient. I think two of them didn't even show accessible spaces, so they'd be crossing travel lanes to get to them, whereas B had it right in the front and provided emergency access around the whole building. So those were kind of some of the factors that narrowed it down. But I can get more information for that question for the next meeting.
thank you.
Okay? Yep.
Anybody else on this subject? We have two more. Ed? Everybody doesn't know you, Ed, so I just...
Yeah, I know. For some reason, that pretty good looking building beats the snot out of them things up back here. So I think that rule that we're talking about needs to be revamped. Because it's a bunch of hooey. I did have another question.
But you forgot.
Huh?
You remember? Okay, go ahead.
I got another question.
All right,
I can't
all right.
remember what it is. That's what happens when I'll let it rest.
All right. In the back.
I think the idea of a rec center is great, but not on Route 11. Do you have any idea how out of control the traffic is on Route 11? I live there. It is awful. Even now, without a rec center and all kinds of people coming. In the summertime, motorcycles travel 60, 70, 80 miles an hour past my house, right where this is planned. It is terrible. The cops can't be everywhere. Just a couple of weeks ago, some guy who was high crashed into a bus in front of my house, the bus took the car, I don't know, halfway down Route 11 until it finally stopped. You people have no idea how awful it is. And I'm just concerned about safety.
Right there too.
I'm sorry?
I live right there too. Right there.
Right where?
Off of Blueberry Pines, I can see the Legion in the parking lot in
Yeah.
my backyard.
Yeah.
I ride my side by side across the road right there.
I mean, let's have a rec center, but not there.
That's,
It's an accident waiting to happen, believe me.
Thank you. Kathy, you have to come up.
Well, I just wanted to address.
No, you gotta come up.
Okay, I just wanted to address her concern because I thought that's where we were putting a stoplight in, at Route 11 and 302.
We are.
We are still doing that, okay, so that could be,
Next summer.
yeah, so
But a
that
turn
could
lane.
help. Yes.
It'll probably happen at the same time.
Like all the way to Blueberry Bog to Sand Road. That's DOT money, that's not our money.
It's probably be cost share, just like the light.
Safety.
All right, I do have one more point that I'm borderline embarrassed that I'm just noticing and thinking about. In that I have seen a presentation by a planner, and the whole point to planning a community, a big point that they made to planning the community was what you see from your roads. As you're driving down the road, you see the face of the building, you see, that's what welcomes you to the town. And I just realized that the face of this building is pointing sideways. It's not pointing at our main road. So I don't know whether that's something that should be addressed, or
It's option C.
whether anybody noticed that or thinks anything of it, but when you're driving down the road, usually you're looking at the good side of the building.
We do have allowed recent things that have gone to planning board to have it not facing the front. There's ways to deal with that with lighting and facade and faux shutters and windows. So it is still allowed in the ordinance, but we did talk about that and reducing the parking to the minimum. But you're right, all the towns around here are going towards having buildings closer to the frontage with landscaping, less parking in the front, and an attractive exterior facing the route for sure. I took the 3 plans, and these are a feasibility, trying to fit everything on one lot and making it work. And of the 3, B was the best. That doesn't mean that we can't, like I said, change it a little bit. And it's not, remember, it doesn't have to go through planning board. I would take it to the planning board as a courtesy presentation to get feedback from them, even though it doesn't have to go to the planning board, just because I find that works better. I've done that in other towns where MDOT or someone comes in and we just want to make sure that the planning board knows what's going on before shovels hit the ground. But that is definitely something that we're looking at. And if you look at the side, we don't have the side rendering, there is some lighting shown on the side, drop lighting to make it look a little bit more aesthetically pleasing.
Yeah, I'm not trying to stop the project,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, if you're driving down the road, which side do you want to look at?
Yeah.
And that's,
There is another option that shows it turn, just like you're talking about.
Anybody else? Well, thank you all for coming.
yeah, thank you so much.
Again, you will know after tonight, we're gonna vote on that public hearing, but we are trying to do September 8th for the date.
When
6 PM.
when is that vote? When can I let people know?
We'll vote tonight. We will. Yeah. We're gonna give this a minute for people to clear out. Huh? Oh, they're clearing out. That's okay. Move along. Thank you. Are you going home when you leave? Would you drop full off because I have executive session?
I'm not married to anything, we just have to know that we can fit everything on the lot. Yeah.
Hey, guys, we have more meeting to do. Can you guys go out in the hallway, please? Move along. Brian? Yeah. No, the rest of them right there. You can grab them. All right, where's my agenda? All right, so now we're just gonna go back and pick up where we left off on number 3 with the town manager's report.
Okay, I'll keep it brief. The RFID project at the transfer station, Tony Ward is working with BTEC, which is the solution provider on that, and they're testing a new interface that connects the scale to the software package. They're out of Ohio, so that's where the work is being done, and if that works, they're gonna come and install it at the bulky waste station. I guess the theory right now is we have faulty hardware. If that doesn't work, then I've agreed to reach out to the town's attorney and have her review the contract to see if we can pursue a refund and go in a completely different direction. So we have to wait on that. That should be, I think he said it was about 3 weeks to get through that process. Town office, if you haven't driven around the back yet, look, it's much improved back there, so you guys are seeing from the pictures. And then in about two to 3 weeks, we're gonna start cleaning up the front, so we'll wash it and probably even maybe think about relocating the lights, because where the lights are, they draw the bugs in, and that's what's making the mess. If we could put them out on a pole and stuff, we might be able to stop a lot of that. So anyways, probably about 3 weeks, we'll get the front cleaned up. So those were, you guys have the report, and those are the big things I wanted to point out.
Can I just mention to you, and you probably already know this, but right out to the left of the back door, there is a hornet's nest. Can somebody take care of that?
Yeah, I think they just sprayed it.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm allergic to them.
I am too.
What's that?
I'm allergic, that's why I'm always
Okay.
looking.
I am too, so that's why I think.
And I know they're bad.
Pretty
They're
sure he
bad
told
this
me he
year.
sprayed it.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else for the manager? Good. Public participation. Anybody here from the public wishing to speak?
I do.
Go ahead.
My name is Jessie Pratt. I live over in the East Falls area, and we have a house on our street that was served a notice of violation back in January, and they were served a notice again in April, I believe, to clean up or vacate the premises because it's really not safe for them to live in, but they are still there. I've asked the code office and I've met with the town manager, and I haven't gotten any answers about what the next step is going to be. The house has no running water, has no heat, has no electricity. They do sponge baths on their deck, and there's a lot of trash in the backyard. Just wanted to put a bug in somebody's ear about what may be the next process thing.
I can provide an update.
Okay. And can you also speak about the violation notices as to where that's at?
Okay, I'll try.
Okay.
I reached out to MMA and shared with them the fact that they don't have running water, they don't have electricity, septic. I don't really know what's going on there, but I did go, I didn't smell anything. Front yard's cleaned up, so the backyard, I didn't walk into the yard and look at it. MMA says that it's a civil case, you would have to go to court, and you would have to get a court order to do any more than what we've done. It's not against the law not to have electricity, it's not against the law not to have a heating system, it's not against the law to not have running water. About the only thing that is against the law is to just dump raw sewage on the ground. They said, but, I mean, if they're carrying in water, they could still have an active septic system. So MMA pretty much said it would be nearly impossible to do anything, especially considering the taxes are paid up. But when I reviewed the file, there was also the issue of the mold. And so if you look at state law, there's something about dangerous buildings. And so MMA won't get specific like that, they only do generic stuff. So I've given that to the town attorney, and I've asked her to review, I sent her the violation notices and all of that, and she is in the process of reviewing. In fact, she sent me an email finding out if I could talk to her tomorrow.
Okay.
So we have been working on it. But we can't go in there and do anything. That will have to go through the courts. And then once the courts have an order, then that'll go through the police department. So,
Would any of that fall under the property ordinance that we passed last fall?
the nuisance one? Yeah, but like I said, it's not against the law they cleaned up the front yard, right?
Yeah, they moved everything out back.
Okay. What I can see from the road, the front lawn is cleaned up. So unless we get a view of what it looks like from the back, I can't really say anything
You
about
can
that.
see the back from the street.
I couldn't. I was out there with a car and I could not see what was going on in
If
the
you stand
back.
by the telephone pole on the street, you can see the backyard.
Okay. Like I said, it's not against the law to have no electricity, no heat,
I
no
understand
running
that,
water.
but if they're taking baths on their deck and the water is just going into the ground,
That's gray water. That's not what they're talking about, brown water. Lawyers have it. If there's something that the lawyers can do, then they'll tell us.
okay.
Yeah, all that,
I get like to be the spokesperson for the street.
that ordinance was a lot of state stuff. It was ultimately became a point of resource for a bunch of state stuff that came down. So ultimately,
Right, but you
already laws,
can
but it
serve
just-
other people to clean up their yards, but they haven't been told to clean up theirs. Right? I know the other.
I don't know what the backyard looks like. Last time I drove up through there for a dog issue, I only saw the front and then I didn't really focus on the back. Probably what Randy did, he just
Yeah.
didn't drive by. So,
But just curious, because
It's,
other people in the neighborhood asked me questions.
I'm sure Randy will be talking with the code officer about this and we'll go from there.
Okay. Thank you.
Anybody else? Seeing none. We have nothing listed under old business.
I think what Colin's list is a lot of old business stuff. I don't mind reading it for the sake of food for thought, just to keep some of this stuff alive. Because there was this, we've discussed bylaw update from committees and a brief, what has it got? It's like we're getting a brief from the committees, having a committee member. I've been saying the chair typically should come and give a update of what the committees are up to or what their plans are. Let's see, he asked us something about dissolving Marina Committee. Did we already do that? I didn't even know there was a Marina Committee.
I don't know the words.
Yeah.
Is he saying Marina Committee or Marine Safety Committee?
Maybe it's the Marine State. No, it's a committee, Marina Committee. I'm not sure what that one is. Cost comparison to have systems at the table, laptops versus printing all the packets for the board meetings. Would it be cheaper to have laptops at this table opposed to printing all of the paperwork down the road, I guess? I don't know. I guess that's a fair question depending on how much laptops are. Let's see, business committee, network group, not sure. This has to be town endeavor unless we think we need to facilitate how business owners interact or collaborate. Tried this last year, not a lot of participation, and they wanted to, okay. I think he's just trying to kind of get a business group together, networking group. They should have a voice, an advocate panel and board, etc. Like a business association. There used to be a businessmen's association, but back in the day. Zoom link in recording for meetings of all committees and boards. Trying to get every meeting recorded on Zoom and stored for 30 days or whatever it was his suggestion. I think so that it can be referred to for a certain period of time, and then it would, I guess, disappear after that, just so it's not being stored for longer than that. Let's see, website, KM management, can we roll into IT contract, or do we need a new IT contract if we can't maintain internally? I think there was a lot of updating and stuff that goes on the website. I'm not sure who does it, and whether there's enough time in the day, or whether that was on the town manager, or whether that was on somebody you delegated or what. I guess he's wondering if it's getting to the point where you need to outsource that. Fee schedule, fee for littering. State doesn't fine people for littering on private property. So I don't know, I guess he wants a fee for littering on private property. Calendar of all cut-off dates for events, votes for the fiscal year and next fiscal year. How far out do we need to schedule public meetings for votes? I don't know if that makes sense to anybody or not. Calendar of all cut-off dates for events, the votes.
He came up with that because none of us were sure what the cutoff date was to have public hearings for this community center.
I got an update on that one too, if you want.
Status of the 3 properties that we are getting rid of. Properties we have up for sale that were foreclosed on or whatever, get an update on those. Let's see, a split purchasing verbiage added to purchase policy.
I think the purchase policy is being worked on, isn't it?
Yeah,
You guys,
I shared it with you, and
yeah,
I got a little bit of feedback, so.
okay.
Deletion of public charging station, or when do we start passing out gas vouchers to the rest of the taxpayers? Who does that? That's, the town pays for that electricity that the people use that from. That must have been initially, that must have been cut, subsidized by feds or state somebody?
State or grant.
Does it have its own meter, electric meter, from CMP?
Not that I'm aware of.
That, just that building?
I can go look, but,
Why can't we put a pay per fee on
yeah.
it?
Right? Right, that's probably, yeah, maybe update, upgrade it.
Yeah.
It's on the map as an EV station, so maybe it does get upgraded to be paid per watt.
You guys heard about the car getting run over out there, right? Oh, Steve's got some nice video of it. Our cameras caught it. Drunk driver, Saturday or Sunday?
Saturday.
Saturday. There was a car charging, and a guy came around the corner and drove right up over the side of the car.
What was he in?
An Equinox, I think?
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Wow.
So,
That's good.
nobody was in that car. It was just parked there charging.
Thankfully.
Yeah.
Why don't we go look at putting a charging station or 2 or 3 down on Kent's Landing, either in the parking lot or across the road as a,
Yeah.
Paper.
Well, you need an electrical source for that.
right.
There's already one there, but I would think that if we could put in a pay-per-use charger, we could put one in. If the new rec center gets approved, we could put one over there, or 2.
There's some subsidy, generate some revenue, right?
Yeah.
I wonder what the markup could be on that.
As much as we want.
Yeah, right, true, right? Deletion of public charge, update on property maintenance ordinance. Residents reach out about people living in houses. Jesse just touched on this. So you're not alone, Jesse. Colin's voicing his concerns also about that property. Budget timeline of projects, bonds, facilities, vehicles for next 5, 10, 15 years, and that's been touched on here a number of times also. Fire truck sale status, should it be put out for sale, or should it be put out as a decoration out on the Bagan lawn? Christmas lights on in the winter. Budget overview, hearing different things regarding savings accounts, statuses and such. How much much money we have in reserve and TIF and so on and so forth. So those are the things he was gonna bring up this evening off his list.
Okay. Do you want to update on any of those right now, Randy, or you want to wait till later? Maybe give us a written response.
Yeah, I can do that. Yep,
Okay.
I can do that. Okay, mill rate?
Anything else for old business?
You wanna talk about the mill rate, is that what you said?
And the new business, letter A is mill rate.
So I gave you a copy of it. So idea is to commit the taxes.
Copy, right?
All right, do we have it?
No, you only have, you're the only
Oh,
one.
yeah.
I didn't want it to get confusing on which one should be signed and which one shouldn't.
Okay.
I can pull it up on the screen if you want, but
It might be easier for everybody to follow if you could do that.
sure. Yeah. I think so. No, it's not that one. Actually, I'd have to go get it. Ted, you want me to go get it?
What, do you guys want to see it? I would assume they would want to see it.
I was gonna say, I'll just make some copies.
Who's quicker?
There you go.
Thank you.
Yes.
Overtime.
5 copies.
Jesse, they give it to me, it's mine. No.
Go home at 5:05.
Now she go home at 4:50. 5 minutes before.
Always be wise.
I'll be wise too.
You know what, let's keep moving. Let's, I wrote it down on the other business, we'll go back to the mill rate as soon as she's back, but, we need to set the date for the public hearing for the community center. My recommendation is September 8th, and that will be the only item on our agenda, because right now Randy's got nothing for that agenda.
So,
And that'll give everybody ample opportunity to speak in the time that we're here. Was you gonna say something?
Well, I was just gonna say, we do have carry forwards scheduled for that time as well. We can push it off.
We can
to the
push
end.
that, yeah.
We can push that to the end,
To the end of that agenda? That's fine.
or the end of the agenda, or the next.
Or the next meeting, the 24th, does that sound right?
What's the
22nd?
8 plus 14?
22nd.
The 22nd,
Is that okay if we push it until then?
yes.
Okay.
so moved.
Second.
Motion and a second for the public hearing for the community center. The first public hearing will be on September 8th, and also on that evening, after the public hearing, we will make a motion to either put it on the November warrant or not. So we're gonna need a confirmed price tag for that to be voted on by the board.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
4-0. Now Brian can tell everybody that it's September 8th. Now we'll go back to the mill rate. Everybody has a copy.
Yep. Okay, so I don't know how familiar everybody is at looking at it, but basically there's 3 parts to setting the mill rate. The first one is setting the value of the property, so that's line 6. So both the personal and the real estate value is 1.425 billion. And then from an assessment standpoint, so that's how much we're going to raise. So that's lines 7 through 11. So there's county tax is 785,066. Municipal appropriation gets broken down into 2 pieces because the state form does not include the TIF in the municipal appropriation. It has to be pulled out. So there's 7,003,231 for the municipal, and then another $485,000 for the TIF. So you add those together, and that's what the municipal portion is. And then the local education, we actually had $113,000 that we raised last year for school that we didn't use. State law requires that goes right back towards a credit towards a school. It cannot lapse. So when you include in the 113, the local education part is $9,240,015. So that gives us a total appropriation line of 17,513 and 312. Then you look at the deduction. So the purpose of the deductions is to actually end up reducing the mill rate. So the state form requires that you pull out state municipal revenue sharing, that's the 450 and 437. And then other revenues is everything else. So that is the part that we're gonna raise from taxes. Excuse me, let me back up. It's the offset that we did. So when we said we took 707,000 on the warrant articles from TIF to help fund some projects, then there was another 190, I think it was 195,000 that was taken from the undesignated fund balance. That's in there, and then the rest of it is revenue stream. So that gets us to a total deduction of 4,126,145, and so when you do the math, what you're left with to raise from taxes is 13,387,167. And then down below is all the math. State allows you gotta, as a general rule, every town will have an overlay, and they'll tell you what the maximum allowable is, so that's 5%. It's not a slush fund, it's a overdraft protection if you think about it that way. So they would allow 5%, and then they go through a bunch of calculations. We put in a 95-cent, 9.50 mill rate. If you look through the budgeting worksheets and stuff, the target was 9.48. If you round up to 9.50, you're going to end up with an overlay of 156,218. So that's your overdraft protection on the budget, which is just a little bit more than 1%. So this is the sheet that when you sign it goes to the state, and then Paul Bennett and John O'Donnell and stuff, they'll commit the taxes and work with the printers to get the tax bills out. So spending lines up exactly with what the warrant was on the town report, and the mill rate is within 2 cents.
So we went from what, was it 9.3 to 9.5?
Yeah, yeah. The budget was built in for 18 cents of that. It was in the budget. So all we did was round it.
So you're recommending that we set the mill rate at?
9.50.
And we estimated that mill rate to be at
48.
9.48.
Yep. If you want to wait, we can change it to 9.48. It's very small impact on the overall overlay. Do you remember what it was? Maybe 20 grand or something like that?
I don't remember. I can see the differences.
Is there a formula, or what is the formula to say if someone owns a home that's 250,000, what that 9.3 to 9.5 represents?
Give me a second, I can do the math.
It's like $9.50 for every $1,000 of assessed property value or something along those lines, and they'll probably get the exact verbiage.
So it could mean $100 a year increase, roughly?
Actually, I can do it pretty quick. So you're talking about the 2 cents?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
that's all.
Yeah.
How much did you say the house was worth? 350?
Yeah, let's say.
Okay.
I forget already.
$7.
A year?
Yep, yep,
Okay.
yep.
So if we go with the 9.48, you're saying the overlay will be 669, 358?
No. The overlay would be line 23. 156, 218.
And if we go to 950, it's gonna add how much?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you right, Ted. If we go to 950, it'll be the number I just told you. If we take it out,
It's an additional 156.
no,
No, what we have presented right now is a 9.5 mill rate, and that includes $156,000 overlay, which is, like he says, an overdraft protection. If we went down to 9.48, which is what our goal was when we presented the information at the town meeting, their estimated goal for that, he's saying it's
it
maybe...
was exactly 1% versus like 1.15.
Right, so it's minimal.
Yeah, maybe $20,000 left, something like that.
Okay. That's what I was looking for, is that number. What's your wishes?
Are we gonna do it, right? I mean, we're within two. So I make a motion to set the mill rate at 9.5.
Second.
Motion and a second, any questions?
Sounds good to me.
All in favor? Aye. And
You'll have to, four of you, well, there's four of you here. You have to sign that form.
this is all we have for business. I need a motion to move to executive session pursuant to 1 MRSA 405-6A for personnel matter.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor? Aye.